What's up, guys? So, long time ago, I promised that I would do a little rant about running, like uh, running in a self-defense capacity. So, I'm gonna go over all of that stuff here, and I'm gonna probably be all over the place. So, excuse me if I am. And I know a lot of people may not catch this live, so feel free to ask me anything in the comment section. I promise I'll answer it. Okay. And this is going to be a bigger thing that I do with other aspects of self defense. I also have an upcoming video where I'm going to show my bug out bag and why that's important in the overall scheme of self defense, because self defense doesn't just incorporate martial arts. In it's a huge domain, and not one self defense expert can address every aspect of it. All of us are going to have specialties on some parts of it. So mine is mostly martial arts and fitness. So on with that. So running is the king of exercises for obvious reason. I mean, study after study shows its health benefits, both um, as far as cardiovascularly, um, as far as mentally, neurologically, and even aesthetically. People who run and stay fit look better, look younger. But yeah, so as you can see, I'm actually dressed up about to run. I got on my hoochie shorts here, so there you go. Not trying to, show off, but just so I'm on my way to a run. Because as I said in other videos, normally whenever I record something, I'm usually just done exercising or about to exercise, because that gives me the time to talk. Other than if I'm actually out, and sometimes I'll do a video while I'm on the way somewhere with my homeboy. But yeah, so running is the king exercise because it's superior in cardiovascular endurance and just overall physical fitness. Um, you're not going to find someone who runs who's not physically fit. Um, Yet you can find people who go to the gym who definitely aren't physically fit. I'm sorry, and no knocking people who hit the gym. I hit the gym too, but mostly as a supplement to my martial arts routine. Um, if you're not mixing that with cardiovascular exercises, not necessarily running, but maybe skipping rope, uh, treadmill, the elliptical, whatever, then you're not really fit per se. You may have some great strength, but by itself, that's not a indication of fitness. Cardiovascular health is a peak sign of physical fitness. So on to the self-defense aspects. So I always tell people when they go running or go jogging, or even just for a brisk walk, always carry a evidence, excuse me, a EDC or everyday carry weapon with you. One of the ones I typically bring with me is usually like a pepper spray or something like that, right? So I'll have it attached to my keychain, right? But when it's early in the morning, or if I do a late night run, I typically like to bring my flashlight taser. Okay, pretty dang going bright, and it also has a siren on it for emergencies, and the it's lit up. I'm not gonna press it because it's really loud. Actually, you might want to hear it. Okay, so I'll take that with me unless it's running. I'm not gonna take that while running, but always keep uh, some sort of weapon on you, especially for you ladies. If you're watching, I want you definitely to carry a EDC weapon with you whenever you go out for a jog or run or walk. Guys too. This this is this is a universal recommendation. And as I've stated in other videos, keep it in your hand as you run, because it's not going to be useful to you if you're fumbling in your pockets or in your hip pouch for your weapon when danger approaches. It's going to be too late. The time that it takes you to react and and the time that the danger is upon you is overlapping, and you don't want that. You need that buffer. Keep it in your hand. If you're worried about people looking at you weird because you have a weapon in your hand, just realize that EDC weapons are handheld weapons. So if they can see it within your hand, they're too close. And I'm not recommending keeping a firearm on you. Although I know that there are some folks who do carry firearms, and there are actually holsters built for people who run to do concealed carry while they're running. Personally, I wouldn't do it because one, as a runner, it's gonna affect my running pace wearing a firearm, and two, it's sort of a it's an aggressive thing to do. And I think that if you live in a neighborhood or community where it's that bad that you might need to carry a firearm, you should probably consider just running at the gym on the treadmill, or buying a treadmill of your own if you can afford it. A good one, not one of those little cheap ones. So that's why I recommend the gym to get a good treadmill. But yeah, so that's the first thing. Carry a EDC weapon. Keep it in your hand as you run. Um, the second thing is change up your running routine. Don't run exactly the same place every single time, so you don't have someone clocking you, even knowing when you leave your house or where to find you. I've had some nut approach me while I was running the circuit, and he looked like he was gonna come after me, but he was big for one, so I knew he couldn't catch up to me. And two, I have hands, so if he did try to attack me, he would have caught these. So, yeah, that's the other thing. So switch up your route. Don't be predictable. Three, avoid passive aggressive drivers. There are people who will disrespect runners for whatever motives they have. Some of them are just envious that they see you out taking care of yourself when they should be. Um, Others are mentally unstable and will try to run you off the road, or even try to uh, jump the sidewalk to hurt you. Then there's just reckless drivers and people who drive poorly, which is definitely the case here in Baltimore. There's you know federal federal government statistics showing that there's pretty bad driving here. And if you don't believe me, ask people who live here how high their auto insurance is. That's sort of an indicator of that. That's why for a long time I used to use my old address at my father's home in DC for my auto insurance, because it was much cheaper having an address in Montgomery County, Maryland, than it was anywhere in the Baltimore region. Okay. Uh, but yeah, you have to be uh, aware of these aggressive drivers. Having said all that, the street is still superior to the sidewalk. For one, the asphalt or whatever, for whatever reason, the streets are kinder to your knees than the sidewalks are. Also, the sidewalks have more impediments that you have to look out for when you run. Like, all sorts of things will be on the sidewalk, or they're just jagged and uneven, which will cause you to trip if you're not watching where you're going. And there's always plenty of pedestrians you have to maneuver around. You don't have to deal with that on the street. On the street, you usually just have to watch out for cars veering into you, even though you're all the way on the end of the road. And you run uh, in the direction of the traffic, not the other way. So you can see the cars approaching you as you run. You don't want them approaching you from behind where you can't see someone potentially about to hit you. So run in the direction of the traffic so you can see the cars approaching as you run. And of course, some of you've already noticed this. This is for everyone, so some people might already notice, some people may not. Um, what's another thing? Then you got be mindful of your environment. So in the cold, dress accordingly. There's been plenty of times that the family jewels were um, little frozen after a run because I didn't properly insulate them against the cold weather. On the other end, the heat, dress accordingly. People, especially first time runners and people trying to lose weight, try to wear too many clothes in the hopes of sweating out the calories. That doesn't work. You're losing water, you're losing body water, but you're not losing fat. Once you replenish the fluids, you're going to retain that weight. Don't do that. You're putting yourself at risk of a heat injury. And don't exercise in the hottest period of the day, which is usually around, depending on where you live, around 2 or 3 p.m., right? Exercise either in the morning or the evening when it's cooler. I risked a heat injury about 4 years ago because I decided to do a 10-mile run in in like 90 uh, approaching 100-degree weather, and I finished the run, but I was suffering for like an hour afterwards. I had multiple muscle cramps. It really hurt. Like if I had gone any longer, I probably could have suffered a heat stroke. So be mindful of that. Don't do what I do. Okay. And you can bring electrolytes with you. You can get the electrolyte gels that you can just squeeze into your mouth. You can put that like in your pocket or hip pouch um, during hot hot weather runs. I don't really carry like Gatorade or anything like that because I don't want all that weight on me, like carrying a huge um, juice or water or whatever. Nah, I'll just use electrolyte gels. They even come in like a little um, gummy formation. You can get those. Uh, Another trick I found was actually fruit snacks. Fruit snacks can hydrate you too on a run. I tried that. That might be a cheap alternative to the more expensive electrolyte gels. Fruit snacks. um, Also, don't be ashamed to put on some Vaseline either around the chest area, like the nipples, or in the insides of your thigh, because your your skin will thank you for it when you don't chafe after a run. So don't I don't care what people say about Vaseline, thinking you're going to do something freaky with it. Vaseline is a runner's friend. Okay. What else I want to say? Self defense wise, like I already said, carry EDC weapon. I said don't do the exact same route every single time you run to avoid these aggressive drivers. Uh, Relating to the drivers, when people honk and stuff at you, sometimes it's friendly, like they're just honking, waving, saying "good job." I get that all the time. But other people can be nasty. I've had people shoot BB guns at me from their car for no reason whatsoever. They just saw me running and just shot BB gun pellets or pellet gun at me, whatever it was. And it was pretty scary because it was one of the ones that sounds um, like actual live rounds being shot. So I was looking, and I start patting myself and realized and saw like it was like some sort of pellet or whatever. I was pissed off. Um, then the biggest thing, and I know some of you seen these videos, gotta watch out for stray dogs. People are reckless, especially in my community, because there's a lot of lower income folks that live in my community, and they will let their dogs wander without being leashed. And I've been attacked by dogs. I've had a Rottweiler chase me, and I could not evade it because I was already on my fifth mile. So I was already tired. I had 1 mile left in my run, and this dog was chasing me on my fifth mile because the kid decided to walk this dog without a leash. It chased me up the street after I like kind of zigzagged away from it, um, and that was only because I like dotted into the street like around cars so that the dog wouldn't try to trace me through the cars, or if he did, one of those cars would have hit his stupid ass. So it didn't see me. I mean, it couldn't catch up to me, and instead it saw someone walking by started chasing him. Um, which I'm sorry, I was kind of relieved because I'd already ran a block away from this dog. Then the fucked up thing about it was, as I was coming back to get back home, the dog started chasing me again. I literally called 911 while I was running from the dog, and they told me they could do nothing for me. Now, I don't blame the police, but I do blame their system that makes them useless in certain situations like that. And they told me they could get animal control. So, mind you, I'm literally running as I'm talking to the dispatcher, and they, transfer me to animal control. Um, and the reason police couldn't help me was because they said until the dog actually bit me or whatever, it wasn't a crime. Okay, so animal control tried to ask me who's the dog's owner and what's his address. I'm like, how the fuck do I know the dog's address and the owner as I'm running away from the dog right now? To their credit, they did send someone out to my address to talk with me, and I gave them an approximate address from where the dog started chasing me. And of course, everyone on that street denied anything about knowing where, who's the dog owner was or where they lived, even though there were people outside that saw the dog chasing me. So your neighbors can be shit. So that might be one of those reasons why you might want to carry a gun while running. But again, I think it's an aggressive maneuver. For me, I'll take my flashlight taser. All right, but yeah, it's horrible. That wasn't the only time. I think the first time I got chased was by these two little mutts. Some Asian lady, some middle-aged bitch, sitting there walking her dogs without a leash, and they ran up to me and were trying to bite me and circling me as I was running. And so I'm trying not to step on these little mutts. And one of them tripped me, and they ran away because I fell on the dog when I tripped. And she just literally walked by and didn't say nothing. She didn't say, "I'm sorry. Are you okay? Do you need the hospital?" Nothing. She just walked by like a stupid bitch and didn't say anything. So after that, I haven't, I have no words because I want to be too offensive. But this this bitch did nothing, and this happened several times. Like she used to just let her dogs go out because I guess she didn't feel like walking them herself. So she would just let them out the house to do their biz, which is also bad because now you got your dogs going around shitting somewhere and you're not picking it up, whether it's on someone's lawn or on the street or wherever. You're responsible for your dog's droppings. So that's twofold things that she's doing there wrongly against our HOA rules. And so the dogs chased me before. So this time I wasn't nice. Like anytime they approached me, I would just stomp my foot at them. Another time I actually pulled out the taser um, and struck it towards the dog. I didn't actually hit the dog with it. If it bit me, I would have. But when it got up there, yelling really loudly and trying to trip me and stuff again, there's two of them tag teaming me like the like they're the Crimson Guard twins. Old G.I. Joe reference. Anyway, so I made the sound for the taser. Then all of a sudden, this bitch finally had something to say out of her mouth. Oh, she's, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and started smiling. Like, nah, bitch, this has been going on for a fucking year. And this wasn't the only time. Uh, there was a husky that chased after me, um, and there was one time I was actually saved. So even though I said, guys, be careful when people approach you in their car when running because they could be mentally unstable. There's one time this white guy stopped by, and even though my name is Amon, so I'm kind of leery about people because of Ahmad Arbery. We share the same name, but this white guy was a heaven sent. Like he saw me running. He's like, "Hey man," he's like, "Yo, I just saw two pit bulls up the street running around." He said, "You might not want to go up there." I just thought I should let you know. I was like, oh man, thank you, because that was definitely headed that way. He probably could have saved me from being in a hospital or worse. So dogs have been the worst experience as a runner. And again, I'm a guy, so I'm pretty sure this stuff is worse for a woman. Like I said, I would tell all women definitely keep an EDC weapon on you, whether you're running, jogging, just taking a walk. This is bad, and I hear all the time how female runners get attacked and harassed when running. So definitely do that because there's a lot of crazy people. Because like I said, if they're gonna pick with a physically fit man while running, imagine what they're gonna do to a woman like 5'4", 115 pounds or less. Like you can imagine, right? So that's my little rant. If I missed anything, I'm sorry. Oh, also I would say, when it's dark, make sure you're wearing some sort of reflective thing while running. So I'll usually wear this, my little reflective vest while running. So definitely do that when running early in the morning or in the evening when it gets dark, so that you don't get hit by a car, by an approaching car. And again, stay on the side of the road so they don't hit you, and so that you actually have enough time to jump to the sidewalk if someone tries to uh, push you off the street, because that happens often. Not that often, but it happens enough times where I'm all the way on the side of the road and people will still try to steer their car to scare you off the road, either intentionally or they just poor drivers. Whatever the case it may be, I don't know their motives, but the effect is the same. They could hurt you or kill you. So I think that about covers it. And for folks saying, well, I'm not in shape to run, yes, you are. We have literally evolved to run. Like humans uniquely have evolved to run. Our ancestors chased down bigger prey by running them to exhaustion. That's how we took down big prey, like two, three folds larger than we were. We would run them to exhaustion, and we can tell that we've evolved to run because when we run, one, we can run long. We have evolved the ability to run long distances. Um, Two, we maintain stable vision while running. Three, we can keep an effective running, moving balance while running. Um, we get healthier as a result of this constant running. And we can't say this of other species. Most other species cannot run long distance. They can run faster than us, but they can't run as long as us. There's a few animals that can, but humans, like I said, literally evolved to run long distance. So my advice, if you want to get started, is just grab a pair of sneakers, get out there, keep an EDC weapon. Um, and if you can only run a jog 1 or 2 minutes, that's fine. Run a jog that 1 or 2 minutes, and then the rest, walk it. Build up your stamina slowly so that you can jog and walk, till there's more jogging and less walking, till you can completely jog. Then worry about speed. Too many beginning runners I deal with try to go for speed before they have the stamina. Like, no, you develop the stamina first, then you develop the speed. First you get the money, then you get the, no, I'm just paying. No, but no, seriously. So just go out there for a walk, jog a little, as you know your stamina can take, and just build it up. You can do this 3, 4, 5 times a day. I mean, a week. I'm sorry, but you can even do it every day if you want. And some people say, "Oh, well, I don't have time to run." Just 5 minutes. 5 minutes will vastly improve your cardiovascular health if you just ran just 5 minutes a day. I'm serious. If you don't believe me, please look it up. I have the facts to back me on that. If you can run no longer than 5 minutes a day, you've done more than the average person. So just remember that. And that's the end of my rant, guys. Again, I'm gonna close this out. I really don't know how to do it sometimes. So I'm gonna just talk till I learn how to close it out because I kind of forgot how to do that. So that's it, guys. If you have any questions, just leave it in the comments because I know most people didn't see this live stream. Thanks.